Hey there, guys. It's Matt Kastner with Freelance on Fire, and I am here on my porch doing some work today and getting started for this afternoon. Got some things I need to finish up, but before that, I wanted to come in and share with you just some information that I think might be valuable. And I've been a freelancer now for 15 years, and now I coach freelancers and help them learn how to grow profitable businesses. And I've talked with tons of freelancers over the years, and one of the topics that comes up over and over and over is the topic of pricing. And pricing is a topic that trips people up. It creates stress, creates lots of frustration, and a lot of times I feel like, and I can say this from experience, you feel like sometimes when you're pricing, you're guessing, and you're not sure, and you feel like you're either in the camp where you charge not enough, and in the back of your mind you're thinking, am I leaving money on the table? Or you swing to the other side and you price your services on the high end, and you live in fear that that it'll be too expensive, and that you'll hear crickets, and that you'll miss out on the work, and you'll miss an opportunity. I've been there. I understand that, and I've been through all of those emotions, and I've been through all of those situations. But what I want to tell you today is, I think it boils down. There are three things that we do, especially if you're a new freelancer, that cause us to struggle and stumble a lot when it comes to setting our prices. So I want to share those three things with you today, and hopefully they can help you as you're pricing your services as a freelancer, okay? So the first thing I feel like that we struggle with is, number one, we use the wrong comparisons. What do I mean by that? Well, as a young freelancer, I came out of a 9-to-5. In my job, I worked for probably 10 or 15 years out of college. I worked for a variety of agencies, ad agencies, big and small, marketing firms, corporate marketing departments, advertising departments. And when I started thinking about freelancing, of course, price came to my mind. But the problem is that I was trying to create a price for my freelance services based on what my 9-to-5 was paying me. So I was on a salary for most of those jobs, and I could basically take my salary and I could divide it by 2,080 hours, which is a standard 40-hour work week with 2 weeks vacation in the US, and I could come up with an hourly rate. And I'm not saying that's a bad place to start, because that kind of helps you get an idea as to what you're being paid per hour. But we're looking at it from a different perspective. As an employee in a 9-to-5, we're a paid salaried employee that's being paid for 40 hours worth of work. And as a freelancer, I don't know about you, but I mean, my goal is to work and to earn good money, but I don't always necessarily want to feel like I have to work 40 hours a week to make a successful income, right? Well, when I compare my pricing strategies with my prior job, my 9-to-5 or whatever job I was in, it's a little bit limiting. And it's not going to allow me to price my services in a way that really puts me in a position to be profitable, okay? And I feel like a lot of people struggle with that. And I did too when I was a young freelancer, but I didn't know any different. That was my problem, is I didn't know what I should be comparing my freelance rate to, right? So using the wrong comparisons, that's number one. Number two, we use the wrong metrics. When we are starting out as a freelancer, especially as a young freelancer, and you're getting used to bidding jobs, and you're trying to estimate how much time it's going to take for you to do a job, and then magically we just automatically assume that, well, if I've got this many hours in a project, what am I going to charge per hour? What's my rate going to be? And guys, I'm not saying that's a bad way to start, but that's not where you want to end up with your pricing game once you have been a freelancer for a while, okay? There's a period where you're going to be figuring out how long it's going to take you to do a job, which hopefully you can use as a benchmark going forward and allow you to be very accurate with your timing in terms of how long it's going to take you to do that job. But we get ourselves painted in a corner when we start to think that just because I can do a job in a certain amount of time, or maybe less as time goes on, that my rate should stay the same. And that's where, as freelancers, we really need to be thinking about the rate that we charge people from a business perspective and not an employee perspective. Because again, so much of us come out of a 9-to-5 or a corporate job where we're making a salary, we're making a weekly or a monthly paycheck, and we are trying to figure out, how do I make that kind of money as a freelancer? So we do this mental gymnastics and this mathematics in our head, and we try to figure out how many projects and how many hours am I going to have to work at this rate to make it all work out. Again, I think everybody kind of has to start there because everybody has to get an idea about how long it's going to take for them to get a project completed and then charge for it, right? But I think at the end of the day, I think we want to be focusing on something more than just hours and time and pay rates. I think that's going to keep us in a box. That's going to restrict our income making potential because we only have so many hours in the day. And if we only have so many hours in the day and we have a set pay rate, an hourly rate, then we've already created a cap for ourselves. We've already created an income cap that either we're going to either bump our head up against because we can only work so many hours a week, or we're not going to get there because we're limited in terms of the jobs and the time that we can work on those jobs. Okay, so we use the wrong metrics when we're calculating our pricing. Okay, so that's number 2. Number 3 is we follow the wrong examples. And guys, I can tell you that this is me. When I was starting out as a freelancer, I didn't have anyone who I could go to. I didn't have anyone I could get advice from. I was literally left to my own devices to try to figure out pricing for my customers. And I've always been good about providing good value and keeping customers around, but my pricing has always been a struggle until recently. And the reason why I was able to change and make a lot more money and change my pricing structure in a way that is greatly bringing me more profits is I started listening to other freelancers, better freelancers that had figured it out, and I learned their tricks. And I learned the things that they were doing in their pricing that allowed them to scale, that allowed them to somewhat magically multiply their time and be able to take care of their clients and win good work, but then make a profit as well. And that was the key component that I was missing because I didn't know who to talk to. I didn't have any examples to follow, or I was following all the wrong examples up until this point. So again, what are we doing wrong that's causing us to struggle in our pricing? Number 1, we're following we're using the wrong comparisons. Okay, we're trying to make our freelance job look like our 9-to-5, and that's not going to work. We use the wrong metrics. We're trying to do this calculation method in our head where we calculate time and an hourly rate to come up with a project price or an estimate price. And again, that's going to leave us wanting. That's not always going to be in our best interest. And then 3, we follow the wrong examples, or we don't have the right example to follow. So anyway, I don't know if you're like me, but I feel like for me, it's taken me a long time to figure this out. But you don't have to live in that, making those wrong decisions. You can find out. In fact, what I want to do is I'm going to be doing a free training, guys. This is this is crazy. Okay, it's called the $1,000 in 3-day challenge. All right, and it's going to be launching on May 14th, just 2 weeks away. All right, and I want you to sign up for this challenge if you have a question about pricing, because inside this challenge, I'm actually going to be teaching you a mini course on how to create and launch and price a product profitably. Okay, I'm going to teach you some of the things that I use as a freelancer that I don't share out in the open. But here's the crazy thing. I'm not charging you for the course. It's a mini course. It's a challenge. I'm not charging for it. I'm going to show you how to use the skills you already have to make real money, okay? And I'm going to show you the process that I follow to do that. And inside of that process, I'm going to show you some really key steps to how I fix price, how I do pricing in my own business, okay? So I want to invite you to come check me out. It's 1k3days.com. It's the $1,000 in 3-day challenge. I'll leave a link in the comments below. And I would love to have you join me. And it'll be 3 days. We're going to have fun together. And in the end, we're going to do some good teaching and good learning and good sharing. And at the end of the day, I hope it will help you grow as a freelancer. All right? So check it out, 1k3days.com. And we'll see you soon. Take care.